Good afternoon, HapBEE Stampers, and welcome to my HapBEE Stamping Studio. This is where stamps tell a story and every project brings joy. My name is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and I'd like to welcome you all, whether you're watching live or on replay. Stamper or a veteran stamper, you are all welcome here. Today we are going to be doing a window card with the Impressions Abloom stamp set. We will also be using the dies you'll find right here. We will be using this die here, this one right here. See if I can get this off my magnetic sheet. We are going to be using these two leaves right here, this stem, and these tiny little flowers. So quite a few of the dies today. So you may have a tendency of thinking that this is more of an avid card, but you can make it simpler if you are a beginner stamper. We are also going to be using the 2025-2027 In Color paper stack, designer series paper. Our ink colors are going to be, let me move these out of the way, will be Darling Duckling, which is a new ink color, our Shy, which is an older last year's new ink color, and our HapBEE Parade, and our card stock bases. We've got a cardstock base. We have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. We have a strip of the designer series paper. You could use either side. This measures 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. And then we just have some scraps of these for our die cuts. So let's start with our die cuts. I'm going to bring our Stampin' Cut machine, our embossing machine, and we're going to cut a couple of these at the same time. So I'm going to be cutting one of the HapBEE Parade large flower images. And if you remember last time, I taught you how to mark your dies so they line up with the stamps and the dies easily. And I want to also cut out some of these small flowers out of the HapBEE Parade. And at the same time, I am going to load up my Darling Duckling and the flower center. And this doesn't matter how it lines up, if it's perfect or not. I don't worry about it. Okay, let's get these. Just make sure they're inside your paper. Line this up. We're going to go ahead and send this through. And hopefully it's not going to move on me on my machine, on my mat here. Surface. Okay, so we've got those cut out. Move this. And then this one does the detail in the center. And the same thing with our flower center. It cuts and it makes those little details there. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be placed in the center there. Now I've already cut one out. Then we have all these little flowers here. We're going to use, I'm going to pick them up on here so I don't lose them. Okay, put that to the side. Bring our machine back up here. And we are going to be cutting our stem and our leaves. And I'm going to do 3 leaves, I believe. We can get 2 of them on at one time. Put that on here. And then our leaves will fit in between. And we will cut one more of those out. Stair step this. Push it through. And let's start it. There you go. Hold your handle. And it goes through like butter. Go. This, I'm just going to tap it a couple times Drop it and it pops right out. When you drop it, that pops right out. And then we have our 2 leaves here. So that cuts and does that intricate design on the inside all at the same time. Like I said, I want 3 of those leaves. If I can get 4 on here, I'm going to go ahead and cut a 4th so that I can throw this piece of scrap away, and then I'll just have an extra leaf. Who knows? We might put it on the inside of the card. Okay, just like that. This down. Push it till the handle moves. Start turning your handle. And there we go. Okay, we are done with our die cutting. These don't pop out. Just drop them on your surface and they should pop out. If not, I just take something I have here. I've got a needle. I just poke those so they come right out. Let's poke this one out. Okay, now we're going to start assembling our card. So we still have a scrap of basic white, our white, and this strip. We're going to put this strip right along here. And I will do, this is directional, so I do want those leaves going up. So we are just going to take our Stampin' Seal, run that right along there, do our little check mark. Okay, and we're going to run this right along that edge. We do have one more die cut to do. Actually, we have a circle to punch. Now I'm taking my 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and I'm going to take my card front, and I'm going to fold it and burnish on that score line. Grab my bone folder here, just burnish that. Okay, so we're going to cut 1 inch off the front of this. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer here and put this on here and put it up to the 1 inch and cut that off. And that's where I got that other scrap before, was cutting off another card. Then we have this just like this. And now we're going to take our 2 3/8 circle punch. And on the front, I'm going to flip this open and push it down. And center it between the score line and that outside. Just like that. Okay, so we have our circle. We are going to adhere this to the inside of our card. So once again, taking our Stampin' Seal and that little check, and when you check like that, it's not going to gum up. We're going to center this. Okay, we're going to center that just like that. So this is actually going to be seen when your card is closed. Okay, so now we want to stamp here, and I'm going to stamp a flower in Darling Duckling. And remember, we marked our stamps, so we want to remember where those marks are. And we're going to ink this up. I am going to sample test this first on a piece of scrap paper here. Okay, I like the way that came out. So we are going to close our card. And we're going to stamp this. Now I want to stamp it towards the top of the circle here. I'm going to kind of angle it. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take our Poppy Parade. And I'm going to ink that up. And we are going to stamp that over the top right there. Look at that. Isn't that fun? I just love those two-step stamps like that. Okay, now we need to do the center. So we're going to go back to our Darling Duckling, but this time I'm going to stamp off and then stamp the center because that gives us a lighter color. And if you don't like the darkness of that Darling Duckling on the outside, you could do the same. So we've got that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to grab our Shy Shamrock, and I am going to stamp a couple leaves on the inside of this card. So we're going to stamp one here. Oh, I think I'm going to do one up here. Just fitting in between those. I'm going to wipe this one off a little bit. And get it right down in there. There we go. I'm going to show you a little trick here. I can take my blender pen. So we're taking the blender pen, and I'm just going to take some of that ink and spread it down in there so it doesn't look like it just stopped. Clean off that blender pen. This is the magic wand, as I call it. Okay, now we're going to start assembling our dies. So we've got all our dies here. And I'm going to take my liquid glue, and I'm going to take some dimensionals. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this on. And so I am just going to dab a little bit of glue on the end. Because our flowers are actually going to hold that on. And then just a little bit on this tip here. And just spread it. And we're going to put it this way. So that's going to tell us where our flowers are going to go. And I'm just going to take my flowers, and these are going to be red for the Poppy Parade, and put my dimensional on the back. And this one I'm going to put up just a little bit. The other one I put in the center. This one I want down a little bit farther. I'm going to put this. Now you want to make sure that it does not go beyond the inside of that circle. So we're just going to put it right there. Okay, and this one, I'm going to tuck under a little bit and put it there. Before you press too hard, make sure it's not sticking up here, and we're A-okay. Okay, let's grab our two centers. Those there. Now this we could have done Poppy Parade also. I would have stamped off when I stamped the first layer. Okay, and these are going to be dimensional too. I want to put just a little bit of glue. Put one down here. This one I'm going to use a mini dimensional. And I want to tuck that under the flower, and it's going to go over that flower a little bit. Take this one, put a little bit of glue. You do have to be a little bit careful with this glue because of those slots in the inside the leaf there. So we have that. Told you I wasn't sure if I was going to use that fourth one or not. Let's put our glue over here. Now we have all these tiny little flowers. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers. So we're going to dance those over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open this one up a little bit, and 6. Okay, we're going to grab our, take your pick tool, deal upside down, and we're just going to put these floating up the side. Now remember, when you use your liquid glue, less is more. It takes very little glue to adhere items to your pieces, and it does not go anywhere after it's dried. Okay, so we've got those scattered, and look at that. Isn't that cute how that goes? Now, we need a sentiment. So I took from the set, I appreciate you. And I am going to do that in the Shamrock NB. I appreciate you. Towards the top. I'm going to make a little tag out of this. I am going to take my little paper trimmer, and I want to trim it off as close as I can. Right there. So that looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch. So if you need to cut a piece and you're confident in your stamping, you can trim it to that 1 or 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I want to make a tag. I'm going to see how long this can be. Want that to come down there. So I'm going to trim this here. And I'm just going to clip off the corners. It doesn't have to be exact. And I'm going to trim this, or you know what? I'm going to rip this. Just tear that there. And this is going to be, and I appreciate you. It's a little bit long, but that's okay. Put that right there. And we're going to use dimensionals for this. 3-dimensional so it doesn't sag in the middle. Take your pick tool and get those off. Okay, we're going to put this down here. Tuck that under just a little bit. Let's grab some twine. I am going to grab this twine right here. Oops. Press that down. Make sure those are good and stuck. I'm going to make a bow. So this is how I make it, but I don't cut it off of the spool, remember. Okay, I'm going to pull that down longer. Pull this one a little bit shorter and tug, and just play with that a little bit until those ears are even. Okay, we're going to go ahead and cut that off. Now, if you wanted, you could take your Stamp and Blend if you have the Poppy Parade Stamp and Blend, and you could color it Poppy Parade. I'm going to take my glue dot and take it right off of there, and I'm going to ball it up. Just roll it in a ball and stick it on here. And we're going to stick that right there. You could also use your liquid glue. So I appreciate you. And then on the inside, we want to make sure that it's covered up. So we're going to put it towards this side. I'm going to say, so very much, thanks. So we're going to put this down, looking at where those are. So very much, Okay, so we're peekaboo window. We can see through the front of our window there with some dies. And then this. Now, if you didn't want to use dies, you could just stamp this right here, do your words a little bit bigger down here, and possibly do some flowers on your tag instead. So I hope you enjoyed your card today. And for those in the U.S., I hope you have a happy Memorial Day this coming weekend. Be safe. Until we meet again, everybody. Happy stamping!